Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where I give you my predictions for not one, not two, but technically three pretty stacked wrestling shows for this weekend. So, Saturday and Sunday, we got NWA 75. Sunday during the afternoon, we have AEW All In. And we wrap it off with Impact Wrestling Emergence. And yeah, it's going to be a tight weekend. And yeah, we're going to see where this goes. So strap on in as we start our predictions with NWA 75 Night Numero Uno. And we start off with a pre-show match as Jordan Clearwater takes on Zion, Austin Idol's newest charge. Considering Zion's so new, I think Zion is going to pick up the victory. Although maybe Austin Idol's kid will maybe show up and cost Zion, setting up a match for night 2 or something. That could be interesting, but I think Zion's going to pick up a win. Next up, again on the pre-show, it's the Jubilee Jamboree match. I am not sure what that means. Where the winner receives an NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship match. We have Alex Taylor, Eric Jackson, Jack Cartwheel from AAA, Koa Laxima, and Matt Vine. As interesting as the regular NWA guys are, I think I'm going to go with Jack Cartwheel. He's easily the most well, let me caveat this. A lot of these guys are really entertaining, but I think Jack Cartwheel exceeds them all. So he's going to get an NWA Junior Heavyweight title shot. Next up, we got the finals for the NWA United States Championship final as Daisy Kill and Talos take on the former champions, the Fixers. Kill and Talos are pretty new to the NWA landscape, and I think that's going to continue with this kind of half-horse fight, considering Talos is a giant. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to go down. And then, final for night 1 pre-show is a 21-man battle royal where the winner gets a NWA national title shot on night 2. And as of right now, there are no participants announced. So, I'm just going to reach into my bag of tricks and pull out, I'm going to say Mims, because why not? Next up, making his NWA return is Matt Cardona taking on question mark. Not the question mark, may he rest in peace, but a mystery opponent. Now, obviously, I have no idea who the mystery opponent is. Could be Hornswoggle for all we know. But in his return, I think Cardona gets the win. And hopefully they build him back up to heavyweight title contender. Next up, a bit of an interesting tag team match play-up, as the Brothers of Funstruction, that's Yabo and Ruffle the Clown, joined by Insane Clown Posse member Violent J, if y'all remember him, as they take on Magnum Muscle, that's Dak Draper and Mims. And yes, I know I had him in the Battle Royal, sue me. I think the Brothers of Funstruction win this one. I think this is a warm-up for their eventual title match on night 2. We'll get to that in 2 seconds. So they're going to build momentum. Next up, a no DQ match between Jack Stane and making his in-ring return, Tim Storm. Now, Storm has been on color commentary for a good part of the year. He's been in-ring somewhat, so it's not like he's super rusty. But I think Jack Stane is going to pick up the win here and maybe move on to something a little bit better for him. Maybe get him back into the NWA title shit area. We get to our first of many title matches on the evening, as La Rebellion, that's Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666, defend their NWA Tag Team Championships against Blunt Force Trauma, that's Carnage and Damage, who is managed by Aaron Stevens. The last few shots Blunt Force Trauma have had, Stevens has kind of screwed them. So I'm not sure what's going on with that storyline. But as much as I like Mecha Wolf and Bestia with the tag titles, I think they're going to lose them here tonight. Now, don't get me wrong. I love them as champions. They're great. I think their reign has lasted long enough. And we need something a little bit different. Next up, singles match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title as Kerry Morton defends against Colby Corino. Colby making his return at the Crockett Cup, winning a Battle Royal to earn this opportunity. He was signed with WWE for a bit, but that went nowhere, which is a surprise. I think Colby dethrones Kerry. Like, as much as I really do like Kerry Morton, I think Colby Corino would be a nice junior heavyweight champion. And it'd be, something a little different. Next up, for the NWA National Heavyweight title, which was vacated by EC3 so he can get the title shot on night 2. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. So, competitors, JR Kratos, Odinson, and Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Like, my heart says it's going to be Thrillbilly. He has been really killing it lately, even though he's lost every opportunity at the national title against EC3. But I think my head, for whatever reason, is going with JR Kratos. Like, the dude's been killing it here in the NWA. He's been tag team champion, sure, but I think he needs something a little bit more for him. So I think he's going to win the national title. Next up, for night 1, the semi-main event, and it's the Burke Invitational Gauntlet, where the winner gets an NWA Women's title shot on night 2. We'll get to night 1's main event in a little bit. We have Allison Kay, CJ, who hasn't wrestled in a while, which is surprising because she's really good, Heather Monroe, MJ Jenkins, Ruthie J, Samantha Starr, Sierra, Taylor Rising, and the WOAD, who I'm not sure who that is, along with other potential surprise appearances. And honestly, I may get a little hate for this. I think Samantha Starr is going to win this thing. While maybe not the most, she's definitely been improving on NWA TV as of late. So I think she's going to get a big victory here. And then we'll see what happens on night 2. And our main event for night numero uno, it's for the NWA Women's title, and it's a no limits match, which means, I guess it means no DQ. I'm not sure what that means. As Camille takes on Natalia Markova. Camille is now well over 800 days into her reign. And honestly, it hasn't been boring. Like, the matches don't always slap, but don't always slap. But watching the evolution of Camille has been absolutely excellent. I'm not sure how to go with this. Like, I like Natalia Markova. She's fantastic. I don't think she's the one to break Camille's streak. So, your winner for night 1, Camille. Alright, so far no pre-show matches announced for night 2. So we're going to jump right into it as Homicide takes on Joe Alonzo. Homicide, former NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. Alonzo, regular challenger during his reign. I think Joe Alonzo finally picks up a victory over Homicide and hopefully moves on to something else. Next up, for the NWA Women's Tag Team Championships, M95, that's Maddie Rankowski and Mitsa Gate, take on Pretty Empowered's Ella Envy and Kylie Page. Maddie and Missa have kind of just started their reign as tag team champions, and I don't really think it's time to separate them from their titles. So I think M95 keep them. Next up, we got the NWA Tag Team titles on the line as Blunt Force Trauma, that's Carnage and Damage, at least in my predictions, take on Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch, the winners of the Crockett Cup tournament. And as much as I would like to see them win, having one-day champions doesn't seem that interesting to me. So I think Blunt Force Trauma get the victory, although with a little interference from La Rebellion. They're going to keep their name in the mix, and I think they're going to kill it. Next up, we got the NWA Women's title on the line as Camille takes on Samantha Starr, the winner of the Gauntlet match, at least in my predictions. Adding one more day to Camille's reign. Oof. Tough one to call, because I like Samantha Starr. She's been really improving as of late. I don't think she's the one to dethrone Camille, though. So, I think they're going to pick up, Camille's going to pick up the victory here, continue her reign. Next up, the Country Gentlemen defend their NWA United States Tag Team titles against Daisy Kill and Talos. Country Gentlemen have had a really, really solid reign. And, this is a tough one to call. I'm going to say still NWA United States Tag Team Champions, the Country Gentlemen. While their reign is doing really well, I'd like to see them have it a little bit longer. Next up, for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title, you have Kobe Carino taking on... Taking on Jack Cartwheel. Ooh, that actually sounds like a really good match. Kobe just won this title on night 1. Don't think he's going to lose it right then and there. So, your winner, still Junior Heavyweight Champion, Kobe Carino. Next up, we got the NWA National Heavyweight title on the line as JR Kratos takes on... Who the heck? Oh, takes on to be announced. Like I said, this was for the Battle Royal. I did say Mims, so I don't think Kratos is losing to Mims. No offense, Mims. I like ya. You're not the one. And next up, now these two matches don't have a night attached to them, so I'm just going to take a wild guess, as we have the NWA television title on the line, as Tom Latimer takes on Chris Adonis. Latimer has had a really good reign with the TV title. I believe they're trying to get him into the NWA title picture, which, yes, very much yes. And Adonis actually, he and Adonis actually just teamed on NWA Power. We'll talk about that in a little, on Friday. So, and I believe Latimer is close to that lucky 7, where he defends that title 7 times and then gets a title shot at the NWA title. So, I think that continues until he gets to the winner of our main event, which I'll get to. And then, this is an interesting one. We got the NWA Women's Television title on the line. We got Kenzie Page, but no opponent. So, I don't know if they forgot to announce it or whatever, but I think Kenzie Page is going to keep this reign going. She's been absolutely awesome as the first women's TV champion. So I don't think it's time to dethrone her yet. And fine, Alamo, our main event of the evening, a bull rope match, which I believe is the touch 4 corners and you win stipulation, which I don't like that. For the NWA World title, as Tyrus takes on EC3. And if Tyrus loses, he's going to retire from in-ring competition, in which, oh boy, wouldn't that be something? This is a tough one for me to call because, you know, in my heart of hearts, I want EC3 to win because Tyrus. But knowing Billy Corgan, he would want Tyrus to retain. Man, this is a tough one to call, but I'm going to go EC3. He gets the victory, and he wins the World Heavyweight title. Alright, that is it for NWA 75. We now go to Impact Wrestling Emergence. I'm going to save the best for last. Don't you worry. So, first matchup on the card, we got the Digital Media Championship, the DMC, as Kenny King takes on Johnny Swinger, who, for a while, he had a stipulation he had to win 50 matches to get a title opportunity, but then that got shortened down to 1, where he beat his former charge, which I am blanking on the name. I do apologize. And he chose to go after the Digital Media title, in which this older gentleman doing internet stuff, it's going to be funny. But I think Kenny King is going to retain his title. There is pretty much zero reason to dethrone him right now. Next up, we got the Fatal 4-Way match for the Knockouts title. You got MK Ultra, which is Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. The Shawtourage, Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. The Death Dolls, which is Courtney Rush and Jessica. And the Coven, which is Taylor Wilde and Kylan King. That's pretty much the Knockouts tag division right there. I think MK Ultra retain their titles. They're definitely facing a slew of former tag team champions, but I think they retain. Next up for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. You have Subculture, that's Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, taking on the Rascals, that's Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. Miguel and Wentz pretty much cheated their way through the title tournament, including finally beating Sami Callihan and Rich Swann in the final, including using their spray can. This is a tough one for me to call because I like both teams. But Subculture have been defending the tag titles all around the world. So I think Subculture retain. I think Subculture have been really, really good for the Impact Tag Division. And as interesting as it would be to see the Rascals finally get the tag team titles, I don't think it's going to happen yet. Maybe on a bigger show. Next up, we got an 8-man tag team match, playa. We got Time Machine, that's Alex Shelley, the World Heavyweight Champion, Chris Sabin, Kushida, the new #1 contender to the X Division title, and Josh Alexander making his Impact in-ring return. He actually made his return at Multiverse United in-ring. And they take on the team of Bully Ray, Brian Myers, Moose, and the X Division champion Lio Rush. An interesting combination of athletes, but with Kushida and others looking out for title shots, I think Time Machine and Alexander get the victory. Then maybe afterwards, Josh Alexander turns on... I don't like that, though. You just had Magnus turn on... Magnus. Nick Aldis turn on Shelley recently. Although he's out of the company now. So I think they can keep it respectful. Next up, a singles outing for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata taking on Jake Something. Definitely going to be a clash of styles. Definitely going to be interesting. So right here on the Wikipedia, it doesn't say it's a world title match. So we'll see what goes on there. I think Sonata gets the win here. Maybe some other members of Just Five Guys stable get involved or something. But, yeah, I don't think Jake Something is winning here. No offense to Jake. I love Jake Something. He's one of my favorite wrestlers going today. Don't think he's beaten a world champion. And Fine Alamo for the Knockouts World title. We have Trinity defending against Deonna Purrazzo. This is going to be an interesting one because I don't know how long Trinity's contract is with Impact. It could be up until now. Could be at Victory Road. I'm not sure. But honestly, I'm going to keep the reign going. I'm going to say Trinity picks up the victory and retains the title. So, that is Emergence. We now go for the best for last. AEW All In from Wembley Stadium in London. That's right, you heard me. 90,000 seats. I think last I checked, 82,000 are filled. Which, you know, clap, clap, clap for you. AEW. Not too bad for a t-shirt company, eh? So now, there's probably going to be a couple more matches announced tonight. But I don't want to wait that long, so I'm just going to do my predictions here. And we start off with the pre-show. So far, only one match announced, so we'll see what goes on there. As Aussie Open, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, take on pretty much the main event of the evening, MJF and Adam Cole, baby. Uh, Now, this story could go one of two ways. MJF and Adam... Actually, it could go a few ways. MJF and Adam Cole win the tag titles, and then they kind of break up in the main event. Or, one of them turns on the other, and the other loses. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's obviously... It's going to be MJF. I think they're going to change MJF to be more of a tweener character. Like, they're kind of tweaking MJF being a little bit more babyface. So, I think we're going to see Adam Cole not attack MJF, but on a tag, he's going to leave him high and dry, leap up off the apron, and walk out, so MJF suffers the loss. Think of the mind games on that. Think about that. That gets in a man's head. Next up, we got the Well, now it's time for the main show. No other pre-show matches have been announced yet. So we got the AEW Tag Team titles on the line. As FTR, that's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, the top guys, baby, take on the Young Bucks. That's Matt and Nick Jackson. This is their third outing under the AEW umbrella. I believe they're 1-1 against each other. Although it's been a while since I've seen those matches. Man, this is a tough one to call because I love both teams. And while their last couple outings weren't, great, they were still really good. I think FTR gets their attention, and we'll see what happens with the Young Bucks. Next up, a fatal 4-way for the AEW Women's title, as Hikaru Shida takes on Toni Storm, Saraya, so that's 2 members of the Outcasts in one match, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Now, this is kind of a homage to the original All In, which is kind of the proto AEW, in which they also had a women's 4-way. It involved a lot of people who aren't in the promotion right now, including Jordynne Grace and Chelsea Green, which is insane to think about. As much as I want to see Shida with a nice, long, extended reign, I think we're going to get a hometown pop, and I think we're going to see Saraya become the AEW Women's Champion, and I think she's going to pin Toni Storm. Yeah, and I know, I don't want to see them break up either, but I think a little dissension in the ranks would be good, and it would be a story that they could go on. Next up, a tag team coffin match in which your objective is to put your opponents into a coffin. And there's probably going to be 2 of them. As we have Darby Allin and his partner Sting. That's right, the Stinger in a coffin match in 2023. Who would have thought? As they take on the Mogul Embassy members AR Fox and Swerve Strickland. Now, my mind would say, oh, this is easy. Darby Allin and Sting pick up the win here. I don't think so. I think you got a nice little team here in Fox and Strickland. And, you got the rest of the Mogul Embassy out there probably. They're probably going to get involved. So that's like Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, Prince Nana. I think they're going to get involved. And the Mogul Embassy are going to win. No offense to Darby Allin and Sting. I love those 2. Sting's going to get a great big pop from the Wembley crowd. But I think Fox and Swerve are going to win, and then they're going to go on to some better things. Maybe a tag team title opportunity? I mean, actually, think about that. AR Fox and Swerve versus FTR? Ooh, that's an interesting proposition. Next up, we got a 6-man tag team match, playa. As the Golden Elite, that's Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the AEW return of Kota Ibushi. Last time we saw him was Blood and Guts. As they take on Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold members Juice Robinson and Jay White. And now, I know there's been some complaints online of, Omega should be in a singles match. And honestly, he was set to. From what I heard, he was supposed to take on Bryan Danielson again. In which, it's a shame Danielson got hurt. But it is what it is now. I don't hate this tag team match. Because we got Jay White taking on Kenny Omega in this one. Think about that. Just think about it. I don't think there's any way the Golden Elite are losing here. They've been on a pretty big roll. Although I do think something is going to happen with Takeshita. As I believe they're going to be setting up him versus Omega for All Out in another week. So that's going to be interesting. So yeah, Golden Elite with the victory. Now next up is a stipulation return I did not see coming, as it's Stadium Stampede, which is basically they go out into the stadium and use all the weapons. So on one side you have Eddie Kingston, International Champion Orange Cassidy, Best Friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, Penta El Zero Miedo, and it was supposed to be Rey Fenix, but now he is out due to travel issues, so he's not going to be in this match. So right now, it's a big old question mark. And honestly, someone I'd like to see in this match, if he's healthy, if he's good to go, let's get Bandito in this. Like, Bandito has kind of been doing nothing since his match against Chris Jericho. And I would like to see him involved in something. And why not something crazy like this? And their opponents, the Blackpool Combat Club, you got Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, and 3 other opponents. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to call. Rumors are Santana and Ortiz are ready to go. I think at least one of them are going to be the partner for the Blackpool Combat Club. God, who else could be out there that could be a good partner? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a tough call. I'm going to say, like, who would be good? I don't know. Let's go like Zack Sabre Jr. and Shane Haste, because why not? So I'm gonna say the Blackpool Combat Club / whoever else is in there pick up the victory, and we finally end this feud. Move on to something else. Next up, kind of a dream match, as Will Ospreay takes on Chris Jericho. And now I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, it should be Omega here. Like, honestly, we've seen Omega Ospreay is definitely more of a New Japan story. So having it done on an AEW-centric show doesn't really make sense. So I think this is not a bad match. Like, don't get me wrong. I know Chris Jericho is not the man the spring chicken he once was. I think he's still going to have a great match. This is going to be a banger, without a doubt. But your winner, I think, is going to be Will Ospreay. I think he's going to build up more wins and defend his now IWGP UK title with pride. Next up, semi-main event. We got CM Punk defending the Real World title against Samoa Joe. So basically, since Punk has been bagged, he's been carrying this bag or something. It's finally revealed to be the title, AEW title, that he was stripped of because of Brawl Out. I'm not going to go into that much longer. He brought it back, put an X on the title, and proclaimed it the Real World's title. Now, Joe pretty much issued this challenge, and Punk recently accepted it on Collision. So, yeah, that's this match. I don't think Punk is losing this title yet. We'll see what happens at All Out, which is the anniversary of Brawl Out. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. And Fine Alamo, our main event of the evening, as MJF defends his AEW World title against Adam Cole, baby. And like I said in the pre-show, I think Adam Cole is going to be the one to turn heel. And ultimately, I think what's going to happen here is we're going to see a little interference from some of Adam Cole's real friends, a.k.a. Roddy Strong and the Kingdom, who have recently come out against Cole. But I could see that becoming a swerve and Cole kind of uniting them under the Kingdom. And also becoming the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. That's right, I'm calling my shot now. MJF has had a really, really good reign. But I think this would be a great story to end it on. Like, don't get me wrong, he'll probably still be in the world title picture. But, oh boy, those broken hearts in Wembley. Like, I know the saying, leave them happy, whatever. And as much as I've been liking this Adam Cole MJF team story, I think eventually it has to come to an end. And what bigger stage than Wembley? Than 80-something people? To me, it just makes sense. So, yeah, those are my predictions for this wild and crazy wrestling weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, now, little update, because obviously I'm going to watch NW 75 Night 1 on Saturday. That's the only show there. Sunday is going to be a very interesting one, because All In is actually at 1 o'clock over here on the East Coast. So I'm going to probably end up watching that. And then that leaves my evening open. Maybe I'll try to catch the other two shows. But more than likely, I'm going to watch NWA 75 on Monday. Maybe do that review on Tuesday. And then watch Emergence on Tuesday and review All In and Emergence on Wednesday. If that's cool with you. I don't think I can review all 4 shows in one go and have it be under maybe 2 hours. So I think I'm going to break it up nice and evenly and review it like that. So I hope you all enjoyed. Please like the video, comment what match and what show you're really excited for. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.